Pakistan's recent airstrikes inside Afghanistan have now come under sharp global scrutiny as the issue was raised at the 61st session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. Activists and community leaders warned that these strikes on civilian areas are exacerbating Afghanistan's already severe humanitarian crisis, pushing millions closer to the brink amid growing instability.
At the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, the humanitarian fallout of Pakistan's cross-border airstrikes in Afghanistan took center stage. The strikes, carried out in eastern Afghan regions, have been widely reported to have caused civilian casualties, including women and children, triggering anger among Afghan communities and rights groups. This comes at a time when Afghanistan is already facing economic collapse, food insecurity, and near total dependence on humanitarian aid, making any military escalation even more devastating.
These days we saw that Pakistan bombarded Afghanistan. From my opinion, it's not good, and also all of the people that they don't work in government, they agree with me that it's not good because we are brothers and sisters, and also we are all of us, we are Muslims, especially in these important days that we have Eid in our culture, in our religion. The Pakistan bombarded Afghanistan with that it know Afghanistan has so many problems in this moment.
Afghanistan today remains one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. Over 28 million people require urgent assistance, with widespread hunger, collapsing healthcare infrastructure, and restrictions on women further crippling recovery efforts. Pakistan's airstrikes have not only resulted in civilian deaths but have also triggered fresh displacement in already fragile border regions, deepening misery for communities that have endured decades of war. The developments raised serious concerns at the UNHRC, where speakers warned that targeting areas with civilian presence could amount to violations of international humanitarian law.
तकरीबन 45-50 सालों से ये मुश्किल अफगानिस्तान में आ रहा है। इस तरह नहीं है कि सिर्फ तालिबान अफगानिस्तान में आए और ये मुश्किलात बढ़ गई। इससे भी पहले में मुश्किलात बहुत ज़्यादा थे। इसकी भी पाकिस्तान में हाथ होती है, क्योंकि पहले से पहले तकरीबन 1980 भी पहले से अफगानिस्तान से और पाकिस्तान में ये मिलजुल हो सकते थे।
Speakers at the Geneva session pointed to a broader pattern, arguing that Pakistan's security policies have long contributed to instability across the region. Under the pretext of counter-terror operations, cross-border strikes have repeatedly undermined Afghan sovereignty while endangering civilian lives. Activists also highlighted Pakistan's internal record, citing military crackdowns in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan as part of a wider strategy that disproportionately impacts civilians. The concern now is clear. Islamabad's actions risk exporting instability into Afghanistan at a time when the country can least afford it.
We have organized this conference on the sidelines of the United Nations Human Rights Council's 61st session, and here people from different walks of life, Iranians, Kashmiris, Sindhis and Baloch are participating in this conference and will raise the issue of girls' education. And besides that, we will discuss also, the deteriorating, law and order situation and the military crackdown of Pakistan on the innocent civilians in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and even in Afghanistan, where, hospitals were attacked by the Pakistani military in violation of international law.
The discussions at the United Nations Human Rights Council underscored a growing global consensus. Afghanistan's crisis is no longer just internal, but increasingly shaped by external military actions. With Pakistan's airstrikes intensifying humanitarian distress, calls for international accountability are growing louder. Without urgent intervention, Afghanistan risks sinking deeper into a cycle of conflict and suffering where civilians continue to pay the highest price.